What is happening, people? Welcome back to another video. Firstly, if you're new here, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But let's talk today about Zuffa Boxing because they are, I guess, their whole vision is taking shape and it isn't taking shape at the same time because it seems to be contradictory, but they are signing more fighters. And I want to start with Richardson Hitchens. So they've signed Richardson Hitchens, Edgar Berlanga. They've also signed Otto Wallin, the heavyweight, and Chris Bellum Smith, which is a recent addition that they have. So Richardson Hitchens, I mean, look, he's the IBF junior welterweight, super lightweight champion at 140 pounds. Uh, super welterweight and super lightweight junior welterweight. Let's say I just figured that out, but yeah, anyway, he's the IBF champion. He was meant to fight Oscar Duarte on the undercard of Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios, but he pulled out on the day of the fight. And, um, many fighters don't pull out on the day of the fight. You had, obviously, Regis Prograis, Conor Benn. He spoke about being riddled with anxiety and wanting to quit. But ultimately, he ended up fighting on fight night, but Richardson Hitchens he didn't. And look, many people are saying that the reason why he didn't was because he had a big offer on the table from Zuffa, and um, that was something that they were going to go ahead with. Now, Richardson Hitchens, I think he was signed with Matchroom Boxing, and the reason why they didn't renew that deal was because of some of the comments that he made after the ring. I believe that was against George Kambosos Jr. Now, look, in terms of like how good a deal this is for Richardson Hitchens, financially, I guess um, it's a good deal. But what does it mean for his legacy in the sport? And what I mean by that is that he's going to have to be stripped of the IBF title. There's no going way about it. The IBF have already set a precedent where, Jaya Pattaya was a cruiserweight champion, and they are in the process of stripping him. I'm not sure if they've done it exactly, but you know, if he's not stripped, Jaya Pattaya will be stripped of the IBF title, and Richardson Hitchens will be as well. Um, and yeah, it just seems a bit of a strange decision for him to sign with Zuffa, um, because it alters the trajectory of his career. And the reason why I say that is because Zuffa have published a list of the weight classes that they are willing to recognize. They're willing to recognize eight different weight classes: bantamweight, featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, light heavy, cruiser, heavy. Now, you notice that you know 140 pounds, which is where Richardson Hitchens is champion, that's not there. So he's going to have to drop down to 135, which I guess is highly unlikely because he has spoken about making weight, struggled to make weight previously. And so the next weight class that he's going to go up against, that he'd probably go up with, is 147 pounds. Now, interestingly, I guess the only way in which he can retain his IBF title is if Zuffa don't bring out a 140-pound belt, because that was the main, I guess, sticking point for Jaya Pattaya. The IBF were willing to, I guess, allow him to fight on a Zuffa card if it wasn't for the Zuffa belt. However, given the fact that there's no 140-pound belt with Zuffa, then maybe the IBF will allow him to fight. But he's most likely going to go up if he's going to fight for a Zuffa belt. He's most likely to go up to 147 pounds. And who else is at 147 pounds? Well, you've got the likes of Conor Benn. Of course, that fight was a one-fight deal with Regis Prograis. $15 million is it still remains to be seen whether that the $15 million for 10 round against Regis Prograis is still just for one fight. But I guess that'll come to air very shortly, because there'll be a lot of question marks on, the structure of that deal. But anyway, he goes up to 147 pounds, and he becomes Zuffa champion. Say he becomes Zuffa champion at 147 pounds, then what? I guess this is I guess this belt system is only goes up if Zuffa are able to attract the signings at £147. Now, who else you've got? You got the likes of Ryan Garcia. You've got um, Devin Haney. Are these people likely to sign with Zuffa? It is highly unlikely. I mean, I guess they could if the money is right, but the money has to be right. And this is why the $15 million. Sorry, I'm going on a bit, but this is why the $15 million for Regis Progress sets a dangerous precedent, because you're paying out for one fighter for not a world title fight against a former world champion who's nearing the end of his career and who actually just announced his retirement from the sport. You're gonna have a lot of other fighters knocking on your door and wanting a uh, wanting to be compensated and wanting to be compensated fairly against the pay structure that they've adopted and set in place. Does that mean a world title fight, is priced at $25 million given Conor Ben's um, standing? I don't know, but that's something that they're gonna have to address, and they're already seeing that. Um, I guess wilt away in the UFC, where you got a lot of UFC fighters coming out and saying, "Look, this is unfair. It goes against the pay structure that we currently have." You got Sean O'Malley coming out and saying, "I didn't even get a million, or I didn't even get um, I think he only got like $1 million for his world title fight." So yeah, it sets dangerous precedent. Then you got Edgar Berlanga. Now he's, I guess, in terms of a fighter that is likely to sign with Zuffa Boxing, I guess he's one that fits the bill because he's been in with the likes of Hamza Shiraz, lost against Hamza Shiraz, and didn't look very good in doing so. Canelo Alvarez, you know, he's gone around telling people that he secured a moral victory by going the distance with Canelo despite losing. So I guess he's not, and no disrespect to him, no disrespect to any fighter that steps in the ring, but I mean, based on those performances, it shows that he is, I guess he's not at that level to challenge for world titles. And so for him it's securing the bag. And Edgar Berlanga is um I guess he's securing the bag, and he's well within his rights to do so. Now, one person that underpins the three fighters that I have just mentioned, Richardson Hitchens, Edgar Berlanga, and Conor Benn, is manager Keith Connolly. Now, Keith Connolly has made the news, uh, so to speak, because of his public feud with uh, um, Matchroom chairman Eddie Hearn. But he's also known as a tough negotiator and someone who secures the big bucks for his clients. I mean, he managed to get, I think, Filip Hrgović a multi-fight deal worth 7 figures with Queensbury. Again, Hrgović will fight Dave Allen. That fight is quite mismatched, I think, and Hrgović is a strong favourite going into that. But it's a Queensbury versus Matchroom show essentially. So look, I guess he's not bad for the sport, because he's doing the best by his fighters. But you can't help but thinking that signing with Conor Benn has maybe forced Keith Connolly's hand a little bit, and I guess there's some stipulations that come with that big fight deal, whereby Keith Connolly maybe has to present Zuffa with some more of his fighters and clients. And so yeah, I guess it's just interesting to see when when these two fighters, Hitchens and Berlanga, come out, when they grace the ring. And yeah. And then finally Otto Wallin. I guess he's on the fringe of I guess in the top 20 heavyweights. He's been in with the likes of Anthony Joshua. His last performance, I believe, was against Chris Thomas, and he managed to get him out of there. But before that, again, he lost to Derek Chisora. Chisora, of course, defies time. He's come. He went for a resurgence. But anyway, Otto Wallin. he's publicly stated that he wants the winner of Chris. That he was swayed by Charles Martin's the signing of Charles Martin and in particular FA Jagba. And so look, it begs the question, right? Like, who else are Zuffa going to sign in the heavyweights? Um, and I guess in order for them to appoint a um appoint a heavyweight champion, they're gonna have to, or if they're gonna have a champion, I guess it doesn't go with the cruiserweight division because Jara Pataru is the first Zuffa champion. But if they are gonna have a viable league and a viable, I guess, model, they're gonna have to sign a lot of fighters to their cause. And so it'll be interesting to see who else they sign. And then the final person I want to talk about, Chris Smith, because he last was in the ring with Brandon Glanson, who incidentally lost that cruiserweight title. Well, lost in that fight against Jai Patai. And Chris Smith is, I guess he's been out the ring April 2025. I guess a year now. Yeah, around a year because he fought on Eubank Ben 1 undercard. But since then, I think he's had a child, and I think relations. I think Boxer. That's it. Boxer were undergoing their departure from Sky Sports, and it left fighters like Chris Smith, Adam Azim in limbo as to who they're going to fight with, and he's taken a bit of time to reflect, and he's identified Zuffa as a place to be. And it's interesting to note that Zuffa have signed that deal with Sky Sports. They'll have 5 fight nights on Sky Sports in 2026. And according to one of the articles, Chris Smith was told that he is likely to headline one of those fights. Now, I guess it goes back to the reason why he signed with Boxer in the first place, because Boxer had that exclusive deal with Sky Sports, and Chris Smith has he fought Richard Riakporhe on that card in the cruiserweight division. So now it's a return to Sky Sports for him, and I guess it's an opportunity for him to close out his career. He's 35 years of age. He is in a position where he needs to think about what he wants to achieve from the sport as a whole. And I think it's a good move for CBS. Whether he goes in and fights Jai Patai next, I don't know. I think he'll have 1 or even 2 more before they can chuck him in with Jai Patai. But I guess he's closed the door a little bit, maybe on gaining other belts, because of the reasons why I just mentioned, because of the feud with Zuffa and these sanctioning bodies. But yeah, interesting times. What do we have this week? It's Ben Whittaker fight week. Brian Suarez in Liverpool. That should be good. Of course, condolences to Callum Smith. Oh, PSG have just scored. Usman Dembele. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. Where was I? Yep. Liverpool fight week. That should be good. Condolences to Callum Smith, who should have fought against David Morrell, but suffered an eye injury. So yeah, that's everything, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. And as ever, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.